This is 9th standard political science lesson number 2, continuation, India's foreign policy. Now we are going to study about administrative factors. Now administrative factors includes Ministry of External Affairs, Foreign Secretary, ambassadors in other countries and diplomatic officers involved in formulating foreign policy. In this, ambassadors are the people those are appointed by our government, and these are placed in the offices called as embassies in different parts of the world. Every country do have our Indian embassy. This is office, and the concerned person, the topmost authority over there is ambassador. So they are there for our Indian people who are going to abroad countries for any work purpose or anything for tourists, and if they are facing any kind of problem there, if they are fixed in any kind of controversy or any kind of problem, so they can go to this office directly and they can ask for the help, and help is arranged immediately after studying and verifying the situation and the facts. So if a person has lost his documents, important documents like passport or his or her certificates or anything, so or valuables, so they can go directly there and they can tell their problems there, and the help is provided to them. These ambassadors are very much important, okay, and they can do all that. They are having certain rights with them, and they function as a mediators between our government and the foreign and the concerned government where that office is situated. Understood? So in India also there are so many embassies right now also present here, and they also function in a very smoother manner for their people, those who are coming in India. So they are they assist them, and they are a support system for them. So a person doesn't feel like he or she is all alone there, but there are these people who are there to take care of these people, those are going for tourist purpose or for job purpose. Now, even though the decisions are taken by Prime Minister and Minister of External Affairs, the administrative machinery which is there helped them to arrive at that decision. So these are the people, the officers, which are having the topmost authority. They are there as a support system to whom? To Prime Minister and the Minister of External Affairs. So they are verifying the facts. They are having this good assumption, or they are having the good observation of all the kinds of things happening around, and they give a proper advice to Prime Minister and External Affairs Minister, and they collect and analyze information and then they give the advice. They are not giving it like that verbally, but everything is concrete. Everything is, they are doing all the kind of verification and the paperwork is there. So everything is a report in the it can be in the format of report. So that is which helps Prime Minister and the Minister of External Affairs to take the decision. The role of National Security Advisor is also important in it. So his or her advice is also very much important. So national security, you understand by that word, that is security about nation, and that is a special person who is appointed there as an advisor, who maintains a keen eye or an eagle eye on the various functions of all the three defense system, and as well as the situation at the borders, and about the situations, or you can say the kind of working that is going on around the countries also, that is the neighboring countries. So whatever kind of any they whatever kind of situation is there, or whatever kind of anything coming up, or anything that is there, kind of hush hush movements going there, so they also have a keen eye on it, and then they advise. Okay, now let's see about India's foreign policy. Now this is the broad framework, and it is laid down in Article 51, that is Directive Principles of State Policy of India. I am reading it for you. So first is to promote international peace and security. Second is to maintain just and honorable relation between nations. Next is to foster respect for international law and treaty obligations in the dealings of organized people with one another. To encourage settlement of international disputes by arbitration. Now and their related objectives are, now let's see what they, to ensure that the defense and the security of India is not affected, not to compromise about the geographical boundaries of the nation. That is, now sometimes what happens, some of the neighboring countries, they try to come little forward, so we have to keep and check on it. So our India's foreign policy is that no compromise about the geographical boundaries. So we are also on a line of control, our soldiers are also standing there, and the neighboring country's soldier is also standing, so face to face they are. But anything that goes wrong there, if there is intrusion from their side, then it is not allowed. So they have to maintain, every country, they have to, neighboring countries or the in the world, every country do have their common borders, and there is line of control there for each one of them. And if we are talking about India, we have neighboring countries in like China and Pakistan. So there, if any movements is happening like that, intrusion is there, so immediately the feedback is given, or there is talks are made by the foreign affairs or external ministry, so, or defense minister, whoever is there, so they immediately, or the chiefs of Indian Army, Navy and Air Force, they are the first people to be, they have to inform it to the immediate office, this ministry department, and then it is the news goes on to PM and the president. So this is how the things happen, and immediately the talks are arranged, and what the questions are asked, and what is the reason asked, and the things are discussed there immediately. There is no delay. So not to compromise about the geographical boundaries of the nation, to protect the unity and integrity of the country, then to protect the interest of India's citizens living in other countries with the help of Indian embassies, as I discussed before, to establish economic and commercial relations with other countries for achieving economic development of India. So this is there in everything mentioned in our Article 51 in the directives principles. Okay, now let's see what was the early phase of India's policies. Early phase means early time, what happened there, what was the situation. Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru shaped India's foreign policy of non-alignment. So he opposed colonialism through India's foreign policy. So he didn't support it, colonialism. He took an internationalist position and gave priority to global peace and security. India's foreign policy aimed at self-reliance. What our aim was to have self-reliance. India decided to improve relations with countries in Asia. Efforts were made to increase cooperation to achieve development. So we know that if we are having a good relation with other countries, then we can function in a smoother manner. So this is a give and take relation, and it is very necessary for a country to progress. So we have to maintain a friendly relations with other countries in Asia. Then this concept of regional development later expanded to include countries of Africa also. This Afro-Asian unity found expression in the concept of non-alignment. So that time many of the people from India also, they went to African countries for job purpose. So they were called, and Indians till today are well known for their skills and education and loyalty and a kind of adjustment. Indian can adjust to every situation very well, and we are very much hard worker, and this quality is is well known everywhere in the world, that Indians are known for all these qualities. They are very much hard worker, they are educated, they are skilled persons, and they are dedicated, they are loyal towards their duties and responsibilities, and because of it we are in demand. So after that, peace and freedom became the fundamental principles of non-aligned policy. The policy of non-alignment enabled India to get help from both the superpowers, that is America as well as Soviet Union. That time Soviet Union and America was a superpower. These were the powerful nations. The technology required for strengthening India's defense was imported from Soviet Union, France and West Germany. So to have a strong defense, the technology that was there, it was imported from the things, or the weapons or the ammunitions or the sophisticated radar system was imported from Soviet Union, France and West Germany. In this process, wars between India and Pakistan on Kashmir issue took place, and in 1971 Pakistan broke apart and independent Bangladesh was created. In the decades of 1970s, India had risen as a powerful regional power in South Asia. So in 1970s, India rose as a powerful regional power in South Asia, and in 1974 nuclear test was conducted, and as the nuclear test was conducted, what happened? India proved her nuclear capability, that we are not less, we are also now having the technology, and we can also give the nation answer back or feedback of any wrong behavior to India. South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, that is SAARC, was established to increase cooperation among the South Asian countries, and India initiated a dialogue to improve relations with China at that time. India also started interaction with America for cooperation in the field of security. So these all things were there in the early phase. Now let's see India's foreign policy from 1991 till now. Okay. India adopted free market economy and reduced control over economy. In the foreign policy, priority was accorded to economy, trade, education and technology. So what happened? Free market. Free market means there was no restrictions, no more restriction. Previously there was so many documentation needed, there were so many sanctions needed for trade to happen. Now this was a free market policy, and in this what happened, it gave many people, many individuals, many business houses and the firms to function in a very smoother manner, and in a free the markets were open for everyone to do the business, and for within the country also and outside countries also. Then what was there? Priority was given to economy, trade, education and technology. So these were the main points of their agenda. There was an increase in trade with neighboring countries, and India's share in the world trade increased. So as we had increased our trade, our business got expanded. What happened in the world trade, in the world business, in the world market, we tried to move our steps further, and our world trade business increased. There was increase in economic growth rate. As the trade increase, what happened? If there is a growth in business, what in returns we get? We get capital, we get foreign exchange, and that is very much needed and important for a country's growth. So our economic growth rate was increased. After 1990, the relations with East Asian countries and their organization, that is ASEAN, had improved. Trade with Israel, Japan, China, European Union also increased. India participated in deliberation of G20 and BRICS. Relations with America had improved, and there was increase in mutual trust in the international community. The status of India was elevated. That means it raised up, and the relation with the other countries, neighboring countries, and the countries which are having good technology, and they are having a very stability in the economy, with them India's relation improved and trade increased. And as the trade increased, we earn a very good foreign exchange, and with that we are able to implement many of the projects. We are opening our markets for the foreign companies and firms to come up and start up their own businesses, giving job opportunities for the Indian people. So we are having a great scope in today's world, and we are improving, we are going ahead. Now let's see about the India's nuclear policy. India undertook the nuclear energy program immediately after independence, and Department of Atomic Energy and Atomic Energy Commission were established. The generation of electricity being the main purpose, India wanted to create nuclear capability. India conducted first nuclear test in 1974 and second nuclear test in 1998. India has developed nuclear missiles, and its air force and the navy have been enabled for carrying them. Thus India has become a nuclear state. So this is all everything in a progressive manner. And today, if you are having the recent news about India's this development, we are now having a great position, and we have imported sophisticated aircrafts, jet aircraft, that is war jets, which are from France, and in this month only it is there. The permission for this from France, it came here to India. So we are having this thing. So in it is having a lot of good technology, advanced technology used in that, and it is very good support for our defense system. So this is how we are able to function, and with our good administrative setup and the people those are involved in it is helping the nation to grow up and up. So homework for you is that read the lesson thoroughly, find the objectives, complete the notes, and whatever activity for you is, foreign currencies are there, try to find out that all the important main leading nations, their foreign policies, currencies. Along with that, try to get the exchange rates that is there, compare it, that okay, if sterling pound is there, then how it is connected with or compared with our Indian currency. Then dollar is there, then what is our currency rate, exchange rate, that you do. Then the different airports are there, that you can write down, that is also good activity. Then the foreign ministers, the list of India, including India. So the top nations foreign ministers, you can write it down, the names, presidents, then prime minister, okay. Then ambassadors, if you are, so you can get the knowledge of that also, ambassadors. So that is your activity. So do it very nicely, find it out, take time, and read the lesson. Also try to find out the recent that I discussed, that which aircrafts arrived in India in this month. Okay, so there are not, first 5 were there, and then afterwards 21 or 31 they are going to arrive. So that is there. So that name you get, what functions they are having, what technology they are having. So that is also good, a kind of activity for you. Okay, so defense system, the defense heads of India, which are who are they? So that is also a good activity, homework for you. Okay, so try to find out, write it down and keep it, because it is going to help you out. And when the school will be open, the classes will be there, then you will have to submit that. Okay, so you keep it. So those who are on today watching, or those who are watching this video, this lesson lecture, this is your homework and activity. Okay, take care.